Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Korra news update video. This time out we have two new preview pages for Ruins of the Empire Part 1. I found these if you go into the iTunes listing for Ruins of the Empire Part 1. What they have in place of the cover is actually this image of these two pages. So you can go in, open a new tab, and then you can mess with the URL to get it at a readable size. So that's how I found this in this size. And yeah, so we have two pages. I think it's from fairly early in the book, so I suppose it gives us a sense that the preview probably is going to officially be out soon. We obviously had preview pages already. We got them very early for this book. But we haven't got, I suppose, the official standard preview pages because it was very kind of surprising what they did with the first group of pages that we got. But these two pages are interesting in the sense that we get to meet a character who we first heard about on the Ruins of the Empire Part 2 description. So we get to meet Commander Guan over the course of this page, and also, I assume, Dr. Shang. So, for context, I'll read out the Ruins of the Empire Part 2 description first, and then we'll get into this. That way I think you guys will understand it better. King Wu's dreams of peacefully transitioning the Earth Kingdom into a democracy are in danger when Commander Guan throws his political hat in the ring, hoping to subvert the new system from the inside out, but playing fair was never part of his plan. Guan and Dr. Shang are using terrifying new technology to cement Guan's win. And then it gets into the other kind of part of the description. But that's the context that's needed for here is just that little bit. That here is Commander Guan. We know that he is going to be running, I suppose, for the leadership of the Earth Kingdom, and they're going to use some form of technology to make that happen against the rules. That is kind of wrong, basically. So let's get into these pages then. Again, I think this is from fairly early on in the book in that he's being informed as to the ending of Book 4 here. So, well, why didn't you say so? I assume Kuvira and her mecha giant dealt the United Forces a crushing defeat. I'm afraid not. Kuvira surrendered to the Avatar. She ordered all Earth Empire officers and soldiers to lay down their arms immediately. And he's very upset about this and says no. We see that he's actually being shaved here by this barber guy, and he grabs the razor and throws it away, so he's furious about this. He orders the barber to leave, and this is where we get his name. Yes, Commander Guan, as he goes away. He says, victory was within our grasp. How could Kuvira turn her back on the Empire like that? On us? I don't understand it either, Dr. Shang says. You said you're getting better responses from the subjects. That's right, but... And then he interrupts her and says, continue your experiments. Yes, sir. So this means we're not surrendering. So two very actually interesting pages here because of what it said earlier on. They're using some technology to win the vote. And he's talking here about experimenting on subjects and there being other types of experiments. And especially if it's a doctor, it gives the idea that it seems to be some sort of a, potentially brainwashing or influencing people somehow with some form of technology. Will it involve spirit vines in some way? I'm not entirely sure, but it is interesting to see this kind of other side of the Earth Empire, some other higher ups, that here's another sort of scientist type person along the lines of, say, Varric when he was involved, Batar Jr. Now it's Dr. Shang, who's obviously with the doctor. It could be a doctor of anything, but if we assume maybe medical, maybe she has some way to try and influence people to get the vote for him. And this is obviously going to promote the idea with him of him wanting to keep the Earth Empire going. This is the guy who's keeping it running while Kuvira has surrendered. And what will that mean? How will the Earth Empire change under his leadership? Were there things Kuvira was unwilling to do that he's willing to do? And so on. Either way, with what happens, he decides to run officially for the position of, I suppose, what will end up being more or less president of the Earth Kingdom, and we'll see what exactly happens there. The overall idea, I think, seems to be more or less potentially putting him up against probably Su Yin for who will actually be the leader in the end. But we'll probably have to wait until Part 2 to get that exact part of the story. I think Part 1 is very much going to focus on just... Here's the aftermath from Book 4. Here is what people know about Kuvira. Here's how her trial goes. And probably towards the end, them deciding that, you surrendered, but the Earth Empire is still going. We need your help to sort of counter what's going on here with this guy, because if she's surrendered and is willing to help, she is the one with the information that is required to, stop her own organization, basically. So, there's not too much here, but given how little we know so far, I think this is actually very, very interesting that we kind of get a quick look at these kind of new characters going into the book. Just the hint of those experiments and whatever they may be linked with the technology from the description from part 2. I'm obviously very, very, very intrigued to see how Runes of the Empire goes. I think it looks like it's going to be a massive improvement over Turf Wars from the preview pages we've got already. And then plus, the villain here actually seems to be somewhat, interesting depending on what way they go with it. So, very, very excited for this. Obviously, we've got like not quite a month and a half, just under a month and a half to go until Runes of the Empire Part 1 comes out. But before that, of course, we have Imbalance Part 2. So over the coming weeks, I assume we will see the previews go up on Amazon and Google Books and so on. And we'll probably start to see a lot of other preview pages come out, like always. Those, especially the Google Books one, like you can usually get a lot of extra preview pages out of them if you mess around with them. So I think there'll be more information to come with the comics as we progress forward. So that's something to look for. I've been keeping my eye out to see when the previews go live, and they haven't gone up just yet for Imbalance and Runes of the Empire on Google Books. But this, I suppose, is a sign that they're beginning to come out. We know that people have been able to get review copies for these two books already, and it's just waiting for the book to actually be released in May. So there are my thoughts on these two preview pages. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this. The introduction of one, but basically actually two new characters here in Commander Guan, and the character I assume Dr. Shang is this kind of female scientist here. Though that's not confirmed, I think it's fair enough to imply it, because why wouldn't it be? Yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.